Good morning, this is John Harvey coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a fine Saturday morning here. It's a little bit on the crisp side, but otherwise rather a nice day. So I hope wherever you are in the world and whatever day or time it is, that your time is well spent. Let's just put it that way. The first thing I'd like to talk about today is virtual reality, or XR as it's called, and the way that virtual reality can aid society at this time of need. You know, COVID-19 has prevented people from leaving their houses in many cases, from taking vacations, to getting any kind of social relief. Bars have been closed, restaurants have been closed, and the list goes on. And people are out of money, people are out of food. It's frightening, and even to be talking about virtual reality right now seems a little trivial, but virtual reality can take people literally to another world. And I think that's so important that both Facebook and the other companies in this space recognize this and start looking at providing people that can't afford head-mounted displays. I mean, the Oculus Quest 2 comes to mind. It's just, I'm still looking for a better word for this, but mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And for $2.99, which is the basic price, and of course one needs an internet connection, a reasonably good one, and and we still need to look at, well, I need to look at exactly what a good one constitutes, but so, it's a cell phone, an internet connection, and then the headset. So the basic Oculus Quest 2 right now is $2.99. And it can take you to these amazing worlds. It can take you into discussions, for example, on Alt Space VR. There's discussions that range from philosophy to talk shows to happy hours. I mean, again, there's so much to do. And then you can go on virtual vacations. You can go to Hawaii, for instance. You can go to the beach. You can go to wherever you've dreamed of, pretty much. There's now 360 video in existence of so many places. And so, it can really help people. But, where this all leads to is, President Trump recently, invoked a clause from the Telecommunications Act of 1996. And, here we are. We need to come up to speed. We need to realize that, at that point, I remember it well, because a big component of that act was something called the Decency Clause, or the Decency Act, where, it was actually proposed that the US had the power to go into a foreign country if they went against our decency laws. And what constituted decency in those days was, for example, I remember an operator of an adult porn site was arrested and jailed. I don't know more than that, but just narrow minds. And with that in mind, we need to look back at the history of all of this. And people are talking about Facebook being a monopoly, and, we need to break them apart, or break Facebook apart. And this just reminds me again of, when Bell invented the telephone and started AT&T basically, and, put the telegraph company out of business basically, and then really took over the communications space. And, later on, AT&T was broken up because it was a monopoly. But if you look at the company, and I've done this so many times, and, it had Bell Labs, which, if I remember correctly, we can attribute the invention of the transistor to, and, many other fantastic inventions where, if they hadn't been invented, we wouldn't be there, where we are today. And, and if these companies hadn't, well, AT&T specifically, hadn't had the money behind them, perhaps You know, who knows? And so, you know, Facebook has introduced virtual reality with, well, they acquired a company and have, you know, pushed virtual reality to a point, but people are complaining now, oh, well, you know, it's Facebook. And but, you know, we need to understand, you know, after AT&T was brought to, you know, justice, as, you know, I think some people thought in those days, you know, it went through the court systems for many, many years with consent decree upon consent decree. I don't remember how many there were, even if there was more than one, but I think there was. And you know, AT&T was finally broken up, but the consensus is, when you all look back at it, that basically the same companies that were involved, the subsidiaries of AT&T that was split up, and the laws that were changed to allow people to get into the local market. You know, universal access was this term that was touted. None of it's come to fruition, and these companies are back together again. And you know, once again you have monopolies, but it goes back to this Telecommunications Act of 1996 that, you know, before then the internet really wasn't a thing like it is today, and we weren't communicating digitally like we are today. And so we need to address that. We need to say, you know, we're looking at old laws here which need to be reformed, and please, you know. But before I go again, I'm reaching out to Facebook. I'm reaching out primarily to Facebook and Facebook Horizon to say, you know, let's kick in some headsets to people that can't afford them. Let's talk to local governments and, you know, state governments and federal governments even. I mean, everyone knows where to contact me and how to contact me. So if you want to talk about that, I'd be delighted to. But otherwise, you know, I hope everyone has a great weekend. So thank you. Cheers. Have a good weekend.